So I'm starting off with a blank. It's 1.5 by 1.5 and about 6 inches long, and we'll get it put in the chuck and bring the tailstock up with the Forstner bit. So we're going to do this the same way we do a bottle stopper or bottle opener, and make a flat surface on it first. So this does two things. It flattens the surface off and puts a hole in the center of it for the 7/16 drill bit. We'll switch that and drill in with the 7/16. I have it marked on there with a Sharpie so I know how deep to go. And then we'll get ready for the insert. Help support the companies that support our community. So I just mixed up a little 5-minute epoxy, and we'll get that insert put in there, and then I usually let that set up for 15-20 minutes or so. Just put a little bit on the inside, and then we'll put a little bit on the outside of the insert too just before we press it in there. So there's a little bit of excess on it too. So what I usually do is take a paper towel before I press it all the way in there, and take that excess and just kind of smooth it out around there so it seals up the end of it. There's a little bit more there, and we'll just do that again and press this all the way in, so countersink it in there just a bit. Now that we have that done, we can go ahead and get it mounted onto the mandrel. So this is just a regular bottle stopper mandrel. The insert is one of the stainless inserts, so it's all going to work together just like a stopper. I wanted to show you this real quick. I got a new sandpaper rack holder here. I put some new magnets up, and so before I had that wooden box up there. So I got this from Steve at turningwood.com. So I get all my Abernet discs from him, and he also 3D prints the pizza cutter stands that we sell on Niles. So this is a slick little setup, holds everything I have, takes up less space than the other one. And the great thing about this is, if you want to take this over to the bench and sand, it just pops off the wall. And all these are individual too, so you can pull it apart if you wanted to, do a like different configuration. But yeah, just a couple magnets, whole thing just locks on there like that. So sweet little setup. I will put a link down below in the description to Steve's website, turningwood.com. All right, back to the handle. All right, that's a cool little setup. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end too. We're gonna true this up. I'm gonna just get the corners knocked off with a spindle gouge, and then we'll switch over to an Easy Wood negative rake. So I switched to the #1 hollower, and it has a negative rake cutter on it. So I'm just going to go through and shape this. So the negative rake really works nice for resin. For like a solid piece of resin, it works great. But this is hybrid, so it's going back and forth between wood and resin, and it still works fantastic. You don't want to jump between wood and resin and get a catch on that resin. And the lathe speed's running at about 3,000. So I got an email a week or so ago about making beer taps, so that's why I'm doing this. We were talking about just different things to do for beer taps, and I thought this would be cool. So I found a beer tap, and I did a little bit of research, and the stud on them is 3/8/16, so it is actually perfect. Everything works with it. I wasn't quite sure on how long the stud is, but the one I got is the same size as the bottle stoppers and bottle openers, so the stainless insert worked on it. They might vary a little bit, I'm not sure, but I would check it out if you're gonna buy a beer tap. But as far as this one goes, it all worked out perfectly. So I'm going to use the whole handle here I just need to clean up the end of it just a little bit because that point of that live center goes in there just a tad. To clean up that little spot on the end, I used the negative rake, the fine detailer, and just kind of came in just a little bit, just enough to get rid of that point in the bottom of it. Then I went ahead and ran through all the grits all the way up to 600, and I just dry sanded the whole thing. I didn't use the oil or water or anything. The wood on these blanks is stabilized too, so you can wet sand this. Before I jab that live center of my hand, I'll move that out of the way. Yeah, you could wet sand it too, and I will put a link down below in the description for the blanks as well. So for finish, I used Pins Plus. So this stuff works fantastic and it dries super fast. So you put a coat on, you just when it lays off, turn the lathe speed up to about 2,000, buff it out. I did 2 coats here on camera and 2 more off camera, but it's really, I mean, you can already see with 1 coat, it really brings out a nice sheen to it. And then the second one here, you'll see it even builds up a little more. So I ended up doing 4. All right, I got the handle all done, but I wanted to show you the birdhouse. So I got a lot of suggestions as far as finishes go. But there are a lot of people saying that I should just put a natural finish on it or leave it with no finish at all. So the walnut oil is a natural finish. It's food safe. So I decided to go with that because it's still going to bring out all the color in the wood. I love how it turned out. So I'm going to hang this up outside. Just has the walnut oil on it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the suggestions as far as a water bay, great outdoor finish. So if I do another outdoor project that's not a birdhouse, I will try some of those. But thanks a lot. Yeah, the walnut oil just brings out the color and the grain in the wood so much, and it's all safe. So I'll get that hung up outside. All right, so the beer tap handle. So got this beer tap. Found that it's stainless steel. So the stud on this is 3/8/16, and it screws right on to all of the stuff we already sell. So I don't know if they're all standard. They might be, some weird ones out there, but I think it works perfect, and it works perfect with the inserts and everything. So just like that, it's a beer tap that is never going to be used because I don't like beer. So, but I love the way it came out. But same with these handles, put them on ice cream scoops, pizza cutters, bottle openers. It all works the same. You take it off of your beer tap and put a bottle opener on it. So super cool. The blanks are just awesome. I will put a link down below in the description to the blanks. And the sandpaper holder, it's super cool. I love the fact that it comes off of there. I mentioned earlier that they're all separate. So you can just unscrew these and pull off each individual piece if you wanted to do some kind of a different pattern with them, or if you needed to stack, like fewer on there or more on there, you can adjust all of that. But super cool. Thank you, Steve. It is awesome. I love it. And it's going to fit perfectly there, and then you can move it around wherever you want. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Take care.